In 1953, a mother in West Virginia fed her husband and 4 children breakfast for 11 cents. 11 cents. A spoonful of lard, a slice of day-old bread, and 1 egg cracked into a hot skillet. Today, that same family drops $14 on cereal and milk that expires before the box is half empty. But here's the part nobody talks about. One of the breakfasts on this list was so common during the Korean War that the USDA actually recommended it to American families. Another one, number 4, involves a chemical reaction so strange that food scientists at Cornell spent 3 years trying to figure out why it works better than any leavener on the modern market. These are the meals that fed America through recessions, layoffs, mill closings, and winters when the furnace ran dry. They cost almost nothing. They kept men working 12-hour shifts and kids running to school with full bellies. And every single one of them disappeared because cereal companies and fast food chains spent billions to make you forget your grandmother ever cooked. Before we go deeper, hit that subscribe button and drop a like, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at tomorrow morning. Now let's get into it. It starts with bread and bacon grease. Before margarine was trusted and butter was a luxury, working-class mothers kept a coffee can of rendered fat right beside the stove, and that's what breakfast was. A thick slice of white bread, a spoonful of warm drippings, a shake of salt, eaten standing at the counter with a school book tucked under one arm. The bread cost 14 cents a loaf. The grease was free, and for decades, that was enough. Then came cornmeal mush, thick enough to hold a spoon upright, stirred in salted boiling water and served with sorghum or buttermilk for 1 penny a serving. Sharecroppers ate it, coal miners ate it. The leftovers got poured into a loaf pan, chilled overnight, sliced and fried in lard until the edges crackled gold. That was Saturday's reward. And when somebody was sick, or the cupboard was empty, or payday felt 3 weeks away, mothers made milk toast. A piece of toast, a splash of warm milk, a pinch of sugar, salt, and that was breakfast. Quiet, gentle, almost embarrassing in how simple it was. But anyone who grew up eating it will tell you nothing since has come close. Down in the rural South, red-eye gravy hit the table next to a split buttermilk biscuit. Country ham fried hard in a cast-iron skillet, the pan deglazed with black coffee, that bitter, salty, rich slick poured straight over fluffy biscuit halves. 6 people fed for less than a quarter. You won't find it at a single chain in America today. It's too simple, too regional, too tied to a skillet that took 30 years of seasoning to get right. And here's where the story really turns. Because oatmeal back then wasn't drowned in brown sugar and maple syrup. It was stirred with a spoonful of lard and a pinch of salt, savory, fatty, filling enough to carry a man until noon. Nutritionists today are telling us to add healthy fats to our oats. Our great-grandmothers figured that out in 1955 with a tin of pork lard and 0 PhDs. The fried egg sandwich came next, not the Instagram version with avocado and sriracha. 1 egg fried in bacon grease until the edges laced brown, slapped between 2 slices of white bread with salt and pepper. Wrapped in newspaper, eaten on the bus. Less than a dime for the whole family. Then tomato gravy, the Ozark miracle, where mothers stirred canned tomatoes into a flour roux with bacon drippings and ladled it over biscuits. Food historians at the University of Mississippi call it one of the most important lost dishes in American culinary history. Nobody remembers it. Nobody wrote it down. It just disappeared the moment families left the land for factories. Here's where it gets personal. Number 17 is the one that broke me: sawmill gravy and biscuits. The USDA literally promoted it during the Korean War because it cost less than a dime to feed a family. Then, in the 50s and 60s, Kellogg's and General Mills launched massive ad campaigns telling young mothers that modern women serve cereal and old-fashioned women stand over a stove. And it worked. Within a single generation, a meal made from flour, fat, and milk got replaced by a box of cornflakes with 17 ingredients and 3 kinds of sugar. We didn't trade up. We got sold a story, and we believed it. The list keeps going, and it keeps cutting deeper. Johnny cakes fried on a greased griddle for less than a nickel, erased by a box mix and a smiling face printed on cardboard. leftover potato cakes, mashed with an egg and fried in bacon grease, fought over for the crispiest edges. Coffee soup, that strange and beautiful Scandinavian breakfast where stale bread got torn into a bowl, drowned in hot black coffee and topped with cream and sugar. It sounds wrong until you understand it was a warm bread pudding made in 2 minutes by mothers who didn't waste a crumb. Then, hoe cakes, cornmeal and water cooked on cast iron, carrying centuries of black southern history in every bite, and egg in a hole, that little magic trick that got kids to eat eggs and toast at the same time. 3 cents per child. And scrapple, the Pennsylvania Dutch loaf of pork scraps and cornmeal, sliced and fried until the outside shattered like glass. It couldn't survive the supermarket. The shrink-wrapped versions in freezer cases today are an insult to the original. But this is the part that hurts. Down at the bottom of this list sit the meals that weren't quaint. They were survival. Water gravy, flour browned in lard, thinned with water, salt, pepper, poured over a biscuit. No milk, no meat, just flour, fat, water, and will. Mothers who could make water gravy taste good were performing a kind of alchemy, turning nothing into something a child would eat without crying. And clabber and cornbread, raw milk soured naturally into a tangy curd, loaded with the same probiotics we now buy in $15 pill bottles. We killed it with pasteurization. Solved one problem, created another. And then number 1, biscuits and pot liquor. The dark, salty, vitamin-loaded broth left in the pot after boiling greens. Mothers saved it like they saved bacon grease, reheated it the next morning, and poured it over split biscuits. Researchers at Tuskegee documented as early as the 1930s that families who drank pot liquor had lower rates of anemia and malnutrition, a multivitamin in a bowl of broth. And we poured it down the sink because we decided it looked ugly. Then we spent billions on supplements to replace exactly what it gave us for free. So here's my challenge to you. Try one, just one. The cornmeal mush, the potato cakes, the fried egg sandwich made right. Then come back and tell me if your grandmother was wrong. I tried water gravy on a Tuesday morning and sat at my kitchen table, realizing that a woman with nothing in her pantry made something out of flour, fat, and water that tasted better than anything in my freezer. Drop a comment and tell me which one you're going to try. If your family still makes any of these, tell us where you're from. Subscribe if this hit you somewhere honest. Because these weren't just breakfasts, they were proof that the people who had the very least somehow knew the most about feeding a family.